Post is generally the easiest way to get your national insurance number if you cannot manage to retrieve it online. See the separate video we have on how to retrieve your old national insurance number quickly using the gov.uk website. Note that this involves using your passport, your mobile phone, installing an app and so on, which may be a challenge for some people. But Post, the old-fashioned way, is very simple but much slower obviously. So let's see what's involved. There are two different options here to get the form. There's an old-style PDF form which is available online for you to complete, or you can also fill in your details onto a form on the HMRC website and then print off that form containing your details. In either case, printing a form is involved and it ends up in the same HMRC office in the UK. So firstly, the traditional approach. The form you need to fill in is called CA5403. Google it here and it's the top result. Just look for the PDF icon on Google. That brings us to this PDF document. There's a little bit of information in here about it. Note that it says you should use this form to request written confirmation of your national insurance number or NINO. You must have had such a number in the past to be able to use this. So this is about the easiest form you'll ever see. Put in all your details here in black ink. You need to make sure your first and last names are accurate and match what's on your current passport or driver's license. It does not matter which country your ID is from. Ladies, please ensure you include your full maiden name if applicable, as well, as that's quite possibly the name that HMRC have on record for you. At your current home address where you live now, but if you live outside Europe, it typically takes several weeks for the response to come to you by post. The former address part is very important. This proves to HMRC that they have the right person, so effectively what needs to happen here is that you need to make sure that you list all the correct UK addresses with corresponding postcodes that you may have given to HMRC during your time in the UK. So for example, you might have lived in 3 or 4 different addresses in the UK during your time there. You might have given HMRC your first address, but then perhaps you might have forgotten to tell them about your last address perhaps. To be safe, we recommend putting down all the UK addresses where you lived and use an extra sheet of paper if you need to. You really need the postcodes of each address as well, as that's how their system works. We recommend that you use both Google Maps and www.postcodefinder.net to find postcodes for your old addresses if you don't know them. Once that's done, we proceed to the marriage or civil partnership questions. This again is quite straightforward. If you're married or single, simply put down the date of your marriage, the date of your divorce as applicable, etc. Or if you've been bereaved, the date of death of your spouse or partner. Then print, sign and date the form. We recommend that you send a photocopy of your passport as well to prove your identity. Here's an example. Pop both documents in an envelope and post it to HMRC in Newcastle. Send it by recorded or registered post as well, just for your own records and to make sure that they don't lose it, as they're very busy at the moment. So that's the simplest way to get your national insurance number. It typically takes 2 to 3 weeks within Europe to get a reply on that. The alternate way is slightly more modern. Find this page on the gov.uk website. Down the bottom it says apply by post. It uses the same form CA5403, just a more modern version of it. We click on that again. It tells us we can get this by post, so we go down to the bottom here. Click on start to put in our details. What's my full name? Have I had any other names? Ladies, again, if applicable for you, ensure you include your full maiden name if that's what HMRC have in their records for you to allow them to find you on their system. Then continue. Date of birth and gender that matches what's on your current passport or driver's license. Then international phone number with the country code. Do you know your national insurance number? Well, obviously not, as that's why we're doing this. Click the green button. Are you returning to the UK from living abroad? We'll assume no. Is your current home address in the UK? We'll say no here again. What's my current home address? Complete that and then click on continue. Any previous home addresses? This is the most critical bit, where they're asking you what previous home addresses you had in the UK in order for them to verify you are actually you, so they can send out your national insurance number to you. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say yes to previous homes in the UK. Just to demonstrate, I'm going to put in this address that I lived at previously. It's important to use whatever UK address and postcode you lived at previously and which HMRC may have a record of for you. Put in your dates as best you can recall here, and if you lived in a few places, add in all of them with postcodes. Are you married or in a civil partnership? No, we'll assume, just to keep this very simple. Have you ever claimed child benefits? No. Ever received any other benefits? We'll assume no. Ever worked in the UK? Yes. Do you want to add an employer? Now here we'd suggest you do not add an employer at this point, just to keep things simple for our purpose of just getting your national insurance number. Do you have a birth cert or driving license or passport from where you live currently? We'd suggest choosing passport if yours is valid. Then let's check our answers here on this page, and once we're finished all those, click continue down the bottom, print the form, check your details are accurate, and then sign the declaration at the bottom. Send it by recorded delivery to ensure HMRC get it, and enclose a photocopy of your passport as well. It needs to go to Bexley in Kent, where all the post to HMRC is sorted, and they will then send that on to the office in Newcastle, who will issue you with a letter confirming your national insurance number.